I like it, man. I like the setup. Yeah. It's good.
Welcome, Doug.
Hello.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
I've got to be careful. I don't want to knock the mic.
Yes, there is a cleaning fee here. That I got told on my first podcast here.
What if you fuck shit up? You have to.
I can't go like the Who here.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, I really wanted to, but I can't.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah. So how you been?
I've been all right, mate. Yeah, things are going well at the minute. I can't complain, mate.
Yeah? Done any weird shit?
No, not really. Just like gigging all about and just trying to get about as much as I can, you know, and travel about. And I'm just enjoying it, man. Yeah. It's just a mad adventure, isn't it?
Yeah. I said to somebody that I've got you coming onto the podcast, and they said to me, are you going to discuss the Israel-Palestine situation? I'm like, what, with Doug?
Well, I'll say something
are we actually
on
going
it.
Into it? Are we?
I'll say something on it if you want. To be honest, man, I'm not too bright when it comes to everything, and conflict's not my fucking thing. I mean, don't get me wrong, if conflict comes my way, I'll stick the nut on you. But apart from that, I look at it as in like, I just don't like the fact that there's like little kids that are getting like blown up for fuck all, and you know, either side. I don't know what to say on either side. I mean, I looked into, because I didn't know anything about like the conflict and stuff like that. I looked into who actually had the land, and I think years and years ago, like, you know, like if we go into Star Wars. Yeah, you know, like what was it?
Galaxy far away.
Yeah. It was like, I think it was like the Arabs were more of a nomadic tribes, weren't they? And they weren't settled, and they just sort of like milled about. And then did the Jewish settlers come in and settle? And
there was a few Ewoks knocking about.
Yeah, a few
Ewoks knocking about there.
But mate, to be honest, that shit, it fucking depresses me, man. Because it's like it's sad to know that people are growing up in that sort of shit.
Yeah,
and like it's just horrible, man. I feel sorry for the little kids and that. And yeah, it's bad. I've got friends on both sides, so what do you say on the matter? I just want I want peace, man.
Peace
I want
and love.
Peace
and love. That's
yeah,
I personally think they should all leave. I think both sides should leave.
Do you reckon? I don't think
they've had the chance.
Yeah, haven't made it work.
They haven't made it work. Time for them both to go.
Let
the Sikhs walk in. Let us have a go now.
Yeah. How do you deal with that kind of conflict and with what's going on? And it's just it's scary, man. It boggles my head.
Yeah.
And the thought, someone put a video on the other day of people blown up on the street and that, and I was like, turn that shit off. I don't want to see that shit. That shit just fucking brings you down. And I haven't been able, in fact, just mentioning it then, the pictures of it are in my head, and I don't like it.
Isn't that a great way to start a comedy podcast?
Yeah, fucking brilliant, mate. Fucking hell. Who the fuck mentioned to talk to me about that shit? Whoever you are, you're a fucking twat.
We started the podcast like, let's talk about people dying.
Yeah, sad, man. Sad. Yeah. I'm all about happiness, mate. And that's like with comedy. I got into it just as like as a hobby more than anything, and now it's turned into what could be a potential career, isn't it? You're
doing pretty good at it.
Yeah, I mean, like this last year, I think to the outsider, it looks like I'm doing well.
Yeah.
But truth be told, it's slowed down now because like I've jumped into the pro forum now because I think you have to have so many gigs over a certain figure, and then you can get into the pro forum. So when I got in there, I thought, fucking hell, I've made it, man. And then I applied for 40 gigs and got zilcho. And it was depressing.
It is depressing.
And that's the thing, like I'm in this to have a laugh and to make people laugh. And then all of a sudden my mind's going all over the place. But then I spoke to someone about it and they went, Doug, the way you got to look at it is you're like a new small fish just been dropped into a pond with bigger fish, and there's like 1,300 people in there. So you imagine that's 1,300 comedians, pro comedians and promoters, and they all kind of know each other, don't they? So what happens?
Weird,
yeah, what happens, Tharun, is like they'll sort of they'll not stick to your own. Sounds like wrong, but they stick to what they know. And when you're new in the game, it's like if there's 6 people going for a gig that you're going for, and that promoter only runs 4 or 5 gigs, chances are you're not getting that gig for a year, 2 years. So I seen a post go up on there where someone says, see if you're available, like the post for this gig. So I didn't like it. I went away. Come back about an hour later, there was 26 likes on the post. So I looked at who'd liked the post, and I seen that 2 of them were about on my level. The 24 of them were way above my level, and I thought, that's why you're not getting gigs. Just be persistent.
These lot are getting involved. That's what it is.
Yeah, well, they're all good, aren't they? They're better than me. Like I done well at the start. You know, I flew through the open mic scene and got to a point where I started getting paid. But once you get into the pro forum, it's another level, man. And you're starting at the back and having to work your way through. So every gig I get now, I'm happy with, man. And yeah, it's scary though, mate, because it's like it does mess with your head.
Because my period in comedy this year, I completely changed my set at one point because I literally just got sick of it. And we all get to that point where we're like, I don't like telling these jokes anymore. You know, it's like I get bored of these jokes.
I've had a couple of people say that.
What, that they get bored of?
Bored of your joke. No, bored of. So, mate, you're getting better, man. The last time I seen you, you done really well.
We gigged with Tej Elias.
Yeah. That was, you had a fucking good night there, man.
I think so did you.
Yeah.
That was a wicked one.
Yeah. No, it was a good night. But that's the thing. I think you can also get complacent with your set. I mean, the whole point in the game is to get that solid 20 that people want to see. And there's some people in the game that have got that 20 and now that's what they use. Yeah. Whereas I want to constantly create and I mean, you've seen me on TikTok and stuff like that. I'm
TikTok. It's like, it's always pops up on my feed.
Yeah,
I haven't even got it as a favourite, and it still pops up.
Yeah. No,
there.
I think it's because I post quite a lot on there.
That's what it is.
I try all new material on there as well. Like, do you know what I mean?
I think you did the right thing, which you're meant to do with TikTok and YouTube, which is consistently post.
Yeah.
Whether it's good or not, but consistently be
what
there.
What you're trying to say is shit. Yeah.
Subjective. But
no, mate, Tharun, listen, right. Here's the thing, right. They say, right. Well, before social media, people would write a 10-minute set.
That's it,
and then they'd go and try all that at a new material night, wouldn't they? Whereas me, I'll get, and then you get off the audience whether this is good or not. And if you walk away with 2 minutes of good out of 10 minutes, they class that as decent. Yeah. Whereas I'm getting an idea within 2 minutes, I'm throwing it online, and then I'll see if the general public like it.
That's actually a smart way to do it. It's a modern way to do it as well.
It is smart if you've got the right head for it, because you're opening yourself up to abuse, where people are like, this is shit. And then here's the thing, I know some of it's shit because it's an idea that's just come into my head. Like, take today, for instance, right? I've posted a couple of bits over the last few weeks and they haven't done that well. And then today I'm driving down the motorway and I spotted an Every lorry. Okay. EVRI, which used to be Hermes. Yeah. And I looked at it and I was like, why did they change their name to Every? That's a shit name. And I'll tell you why I think it's a shit name. It's because every parcel either comes broken, gets stolen, or is thrown over your fence or whatever, So, like, I thought you could have thought of a better name. And then I thought, I wonder if that'd work online. Put it online. It's beat the past few videos that I've put on. And I'm like, fucking hell.
It's mental.
So now I'll consider trying to turn that into a bit. Do you know what I mean?
There's a foundation there which you can now work from.
Yeah. So it works for me in that way, but you've just got to get your head around the fact that you may get some abuse. But I ain't bothered about that, mate.
Yeah. I got loads of abuse when I worked in a builder's merchants.
Yeah?
Yeah, I learned. I think I messaged you when I started working in one of those.
Yeah.
Some of the language.
Yeah, yeah. Well, to be honest, I mean, I'm in a game where, how do you put it? Fuck it, I'll put it how it is. racist, homophobic, sexist. Yeah, there's a lot of that in the building industry because
loads of it in there.
Yeah, thick. There's so many thick as fuck motherfuckers that are like backwards in a way.
So I had this one guy. He goes, he was talking about this woman. And he goes, "You see that woman? She's a bean." And I went, "What the fuck is a bean?" He goes, "A bean. Bean flicker, leather." I was like, "Whoa, shit!"
Yeah.
I was like, "Whoa, okay, that's a phrase I never heard of."
Well, I hadn't heard that, but you do get a lot of it. There's many a time on building sites where I have to bite my lip and that. And realistically, I should be being in with the lad. I should be like that.
You do look the part.
Yeah.
If I thought archetypal football kind of oi.
Yeah. I've only looked like this since my hair fell out, Tara, and I was a fucking long-haired hippie, and then my hair fell out, and I overnight looked like a fucking thug. It's mad, isn't it? It's mad.
Mental, isn't it?
But that's life, mate.
That's life.
You deal with the cards you dealt, mate.
But no, it's just like, because I've, from working there, been trying to implement a lot of those into my routine as well. Because I've, sometimes builders, they'll just insult you for no reason at all.
Yeah, but that's the British way as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a British thing. Like I was having my lunch once. So some guy said, "What are you having?" I go, "I'm having a ham and cheese sandwich with some mayonnaise," and he just went, "Mayonnaise, twat." I was like, "What?"
I remember seeing a thing. There was a booklet out about the American Army saying, "Watch what you're doing around the English.
Yeah,
they're a strange breed, but they'll have your back." And it's like, whereas most cultures all like lie to your face and then be arsey behind your back. The English, it's like, "Oh, you fucking cunt," and then behind your back they'll be going, "Fucking good lad he is," and it's like, it's mad, isn't it?
It's a sign of love.
Yeah,
when you call your mate a prick, it's because you care.
Well, it's like that bit that I've got where I say about the C-bomb and how it used to be the most hated word in the English language, whereas now the mandem and that, the youngsters and that, they've sort of turned it round. Like me and my mates now, my mate will ring me up and I'll be like, "All right, you cunt, how's it going?" And that word now it's a term of endearment, isn't it? It's flipped, so it's lost its power. Some people still cringe at it, but
I think that's like because it's still got that kind of
it's got that nasty connotation that people think, is that the right word? I don't know, I'm thick as fuck. But
it's also like, I remember when I was in America and I when I used to smoke, I asked for a fag. But over here, that's a cigarette.
Yeah, over there,
that's me asking for a homosexual.
Yeah.
They didn't have to give me one, but it was just.
Could you imagine? Fucking popping out of bushes. Hello.
If you insist.
Yeah, it is mad how things change. So I don't know if this is a true fact or not, Tharun, but do you know what is the only sort of word sort of sign that is known throughout every language and every what would you call it, every person on the planet, the one thing that is used by everyone?
Go on.
It's the shake of a head for no.
Really?
Yeah, do you know why?
Go on.
Because whenever you went to feed a kid if they didn't want it, they go like this. So that's meant to be universal for no. Yeah. There's today's uninteresting fact for you.
The more you know. There you go.
Might be bullshit. Someone might have just blagged me, but I don't know. When they told it me, it kind of made sense. Yeah. So
I remember one person telling me about driving tests in India that if they have them, and he said to me that he heard his mate told him that driving. If you're say me and you are learning to drive, and then you have your driving test, and if I sit in the car with you, if you pass, then we both pass.
Fuck off.
Apparently, someone said that.
I seen a video a while ago, years and years ago, where it showed, and I don't know where it was, so I'm not going to say India, because I don't want to be seen as racist.
Some bloody foreign country.
Let's turn these phones off. Well, it was a driving test somewhere, and
Oh, sorry. Just, answer your messages while you're here.
No, I just seen it pop up. It looks like someone's interested in another gig. Sounds. It was
nice that you're getting booked while here.
No, it's one I run like. So
right.
It was a driving test where they just had to drive like this, go through a chicane, which wasn't even a chicane, and they were like, "Okay, you've passed." And it's like, fucking hell, man.
Thing is, there's like a lot of people. Like my cousin, she came over to here from Canada, and she said she could never drive in this country. And I said, why? She goes, because it's so here. They literally scrutinise you for everything, and also roundabouts.
Well, you couldn't get her head around it.
She couldn't get her head around roundabouts. I mean, I said to her that when I was learning to drive, I didn't like roundabouts, but now I actually think they're one of the best things.
Yeah.
I bloody love a roundabout.
You love some weird shit, man.
And I need to get out more, innit?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Like, I'm always down Milton Keynes.
That place, man. It's like Lego City, and it's like I used to do loft insulation years ago, and we used to go to do some of the houses there, and each little quadrant or whatever you call it has got different houses, and it was as if like they got architects and said, right, build what the fuck you want. Yeah. If it works, we'll take it around the country. If it don't, it's Milton Keynes.
Fair enough.
We just leave it there.
Yeah. No, because we all know Hits and Adcat. He booked me to do a gig in Milton Keynes.
He's moved up there, hasn't he?
Yeah, he lives there. He's
down there.
Down there, down south. It's down south.
Down south.
Yeah. And he asked me to gig down there, and I had at that point never actually been to Milton Keynes.
Really?
And I thought, how many roundabouts could they really have? Fucking hell!
It's unbelievable, isn't it?
They literally every 2 minutes.
But that's what it is. It's little squares, plots of land, and there was different builders had all these different plots of land, and then they just built the fucking craziest houses you've ever seen in your life, like their own little communities, and it's like it's weird as fuck, man.
That's right. You hear that, Milton Keynes? You're weird. Sort it out, Milton Keynes.
And I've got a bone to pick with Milton Keynes as it goes, right? The best fucking rave venue in the country was in Milton Keynes, and you built a fucking football stadium on it, you fucking pricks. Yeah. The Sanctuary and the Rollers were fucking hell, man. I've had my jaw swinging in that place so many times. So
bring down MK Dons.
Yeah, fuck MK Dons.
Fuck them.
Yeah. We ought to fucking have a rave on the pitch while the football's on. Fuck you.
Yeah, take that, your 20-year-old team.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
I love that place, man. It was like a spiritual home for me, mate.
I can imagine you were very much rave culture in the 90s.
I love the rave scene, mate. Yeah.
Do you know, they say that was my era, that my mind would probably say the late 2000s. Would you say the 90s was your era?
Yeah, I started raving in. I think I got into acid house and that at the late 80s.
Yeah,
and then early 90s. In fact, I'll never forget my first ever rave. My neighbour, Craig Plant, God rest his soul, he was like 5 years older than me, and I was 15 years old.
Yeah,
and he went, "We'll go to the Mercia." Now there was a club in Coventry called the Eclipse.
Yeah.
And it was one of the most famous rave venues back in the day. But it was like £16.50 to get in.
Yeah.
Pills back then were like fucking 20 odd quid. I was still at school. My pocket money would only stretch to the Mercia. And the Mercia was on like till 2 in the morning. And then people would leave the Mercia and go to the Eclipse. But I was too young for that. So I just went to the Mercia. And I remember my first time there, Craig was like, "You're going to be dancing all night, so get a bit of whiz." And I was like, whiz, which was speed. In fact, that's why I've got no back teeth, because of speed. I fucking used to grind my teeth and they just shattered. But I'll never forget I got in the queue and Craig turned around to me, he's gone, "Have you hid your gear?" And I had some speed and I had some draw on me. Do you know what draw is?
No.
Draw is like what we used to smoke back in the 80s and 90s. It was a solid block of like fucking, it just looked like mud, brown
like hash
mud.
Or something.
Yeah, hash. And you burn it, sprinkle it in, So I had that and this whiz in my pocket. And he's gone, "Where you hid it?" And I went, "What are you on about?" So I was only 15. He went, "You've got to hide it, man." And we were in the queue, and then I looked at the end of the queue and I could see people getting searched, and I was like, "Fuck, man. Where am I going to put it?" And I thought the best place to put it, between me bum cheeks. Now, the whiz is obviously in a bag.
Yeah.
The drawer weren't in a bag, but what I did was, this is when I learned the 3-finger trick, right?
The 3-finger trick?
Yeah, let me show you.
Okay, strap in for this one.
Say that's your bumhole, right? You put your gear in there like that, and you put your fingers on your bumhole. You'd open your... I'm not talking about sticking it up your arse. I mean your cheeks.
Because that'd be weird.
That's your cheeks, yeah? So you put your fingers on, open it like that, push it towards your bumhole, and then take them fingers away, pull it away. Bosh, it's there next to your bumhole, airtight. So I've done that. Yeah. I've gone into this rave, stood there. I mean, I could do fucking star jumps and it'd just stay there airtight. I mean, I used to take like 100 pills into a rave between my arse cheeks years ago, but that's another story.
Well.
But anyway, well, we can talk about that if you want.
We've got time.
Yeah, so I got into the rave, and then when I was in there, I was dancing, and that's between my arse cheeks, thought nothing of it. And then I'm not saying the lad's name because you don't know this happened, but a lad come up to me, and he's gone, you got any draw, Doug? And I was like, yeah. He says, can I skin up for you? I says, yeah, of course you can. Give me a minute. So then I've bobbed into the crowd, and as I'm bobbing into the crowd, I've pulled it out, and I've like gone over to him. I've given it him. And he's gone, hold the Rizzler. So I'm holding the Rizzler like this. He's put the tobacco in. And he's burnt it. And then after he's burnt it, he sprinkled it in. And then he's gone like that. And I'm looking at him thinking, that's just been on my bumhole. But I never told him. No, never told him. A.D. Nettleton, fuck it, that's his name. Sorry, A.D.
Well, yeah, if he joins our 100 subscribers, then yes.
A.D., basically, you've sucked my fucking bum nuggets, so I do apologise.
A.D., have you ever got pink eye in the 80s? You might know why now.
Yeah, it was from my drawer, but I love you, A.D., but that's a secret I've been keeping away from you forever.
Well, there we go.
Yeah.
Wow. Bloody hell. Yeah, well, that's a vision I'll never forget.
Yeah.
Well, one thing about your set I like, moving on to comedy again, is when you talk about your auntie.
Oh, yeah.
Is that true? What you say about her? Is that true?
Some of
For those of you who don't know, if you could tell us a bit about your auntie.
Well, you tell them what you know about the story.
You tell me what. It's
all right.
I know the story. It's but it can't be true.
My auntie's a prostitute.
Yeah, that's the prostitute. Yeah.
I tell a story in it. Part of it is true, part of it isn't. Like the beginning bit of the story I tell isn't true, but the middle bit about the Chinese guy on the sofa, that's true. The David Dickinson bit at the end isn't true. Now, if you want to know about that, you'll have to come and watch me live. But yeah, my auntie's basically a heroin addict, lesbian prostitute that only sleeps with men for money.
There's so much to unpack in that.
There's
so much in that.
But I found out she was a heroin addict when I was like 15 years old. She took me out. At the time, I didn't know she was a prostitute. She used to come and stop at my mum and dad's house. Yeah. I was 15. She was 10 years older than me, so she was 25. And this one day, she knew I smoked draw at 15.
Yeah.
And I've gone out the house this one day, and she was like, "You going for a smoke?" I says, "Yeah." She went, "I'll come with you." I went, "All right then, sound." So she's jumped in the car with us, and we've gone down the park, our local park, and there's like 4 of us in the car, me, my mate Fisher, this guy, I think his name was Grinter, and my auntie.
These names, fucking hell.
Yeah.
Fisher, Grinter.
Yeah. We were
The lads.
Ooh. And we were down the park, and we had a few joints, and she's gone, "Yeah, I'll try one of these." She passed me a temazepam tablet. So I was like, okay, banged it down my neck.
Of course.
Had another joint. Says, "Them tablets are shit, Mandy." And she's gone, "I've changed her name to protect her identity."
Of course.
Yeah, I fucking ain't. Her name's Mandy. So anyway, so she gave me another temazepam tablet and fucking had another joint. And I'm sitting in the car and I'm like, "This is shit." And she went, "Get out the car." So I got out the car, walked around onto the grass. Boof. I just lost all the feeling in my legs and arms. Yeah. My legs have gone behind me. I'm laying on the floor and I'm going, I thought I was saying, I can't move my fucking arms and legs. But so my mate told me, he said, you went, like that. So anyway, they fucking got me in the car. Took me back home, and there was like the drive-in entrance to my estate, and then there was a walk-in bit at the back of the estate. Mandy got out at the back of the estate, and they went, drive round, drop him off outside the house.
Yeah.
Fucking. So they've drove round, got me out. Fishers walked me to the door. Now people were scared of my mum. Her nickname was Slugger Carter. She was fucking tough as fuck.
Slugger Carter.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's a story behind that as well. She knocked some woman out down the road. Someone wrote a poem about her, an ode to Slugger Carter.
Slugger Carter.
Yeah. So fucking Fishers knocked my mum's door, and then just fucking legged it and left me on the grass. Like, so my mum's got me in the house. I don't remember none of this. All I remember is waking up the next day, coming downstairs. My mum's in the kitchen and my auntie's doing the dishes behind her. And my mum's gone, bit drunk last night, were you? And as she said it, I could see my auntie just looking around going, like that. And I was like, yeah, a little bit drunk last night, a little bit drunk. And she went, you best go and check the bathroom. And I went up and it looked like a sick murder scene. Yeah, there was just fucking sick everywhere, up the walls of the bath and everything. I was like, fucking hell. Took me about an hour to clean it. Then I come down, apologised, all that sort of stuff. Anyway, I've walked outside. My auntie's come outside to me and she went, thanks for not grassing me up.
Yeah.
He says, that's all right, loose lips sink ships and that shit. And she went, look, Doug, I know you're going to get into drugs, but promise me one thing, you'll stay away from heroin. And I went, why? And she went, because I'm a heroin addict. And I was 15 at the time. She was like 25. And I was like, really? And then I says, how long you been on that? She went, fucking 10 plus years. So, and I can remember going to a flat in Hill Fields when I was a kid, and there was loads of people, and I thought they were just drunk on the sofas. Turns out they were all gouging out, which is like when you fucked up on heroin. And then I started spending more time with my auntie. I'd go around her house a lot, like when she got a flat and stuff. And that's when I got introduced to like prostitution and that, like. And I'd see her having people round. And one time I went round and there was a Chinese geezer on the settee, and she actually, that's in my my joke, geezer, And I walked. Well, first of all, she's just turned around and she went, I've got a customer at the minute. Do you want to come back in a bit? And I went, no, wait in the kitchen. I had a mate with me at the time. Yeah. And he was one of them guys that fucking thought he'd had a hard life. So I took him round to my auntie's to show him what a hard life really was. And when we've walked in, we've gone into the kitchen. He stood there and he's like, the fuck's going on in there? I says, she's just going to give him a nosh for a tenner. And he was like, what do you mean? I says, she's a prostitute, like. And he was like, what? And you could see it on his face. He was fucking freaked out, like. But yeah, that was kind of fucking, wow, it was mad whenever I'd go around to see her. Like, she wouldn't offer me a cup of tea, she'd offer me a crack pipe, she was... Of course, she's
accommodating like that.
Yeah. And I remember once going round to her house as well, and this is how fucking mad she was. It had got her that bad that she'd always be looking for where to get that next tenner from, whether it was sucking a dick or fucking like shoplifting or whatever. But one day she was in the house. She went, Doug, go in the kitchen and get a tenner off that geezer in there. And I was like, what? She went, he's just punched my cake. And I went, what? Yeah, well, exactly. I was like, what?
What does that mean?
And she went, he's punched me cake, go in. And I went in and there's this Victoria sponge cake on the side, and it had a fucking, like, not just a big hole, it looked like a Victoria sponge murder scene. It was everywhere, and this guy's all pissed up the wall, and I went, what you done, mate? He's like, oh, sorry, I was just a bit angry in that. I says, fucking, what's that cake ever done to you? Do you know what I mean? He was like, oh, I'm sorry. And I thought, he's pissed up. My auntie just wants a reason to get a tenner off someone. He was like, fucking just a cheap ass cake. And I went, mate, get the fuck out. And I kicked him out the house. Yeah. Then my auntie's come in like this going, did you get that tenner? I says, no, I fucking never, Mandy. I says,
punching a cake.
I says, Mandy, it's a fucking £2 cake from Iceland. Here, I'll have the £2. So I just give her £2. And turned out she'd nicked the cake anyway. So
she was quids in anyway.
Yeah, two quids in. But anyway, like, her being a heroin addict actually helped me out, because years I did get into drugs, obviously. I got into your pills at raving and stuff like that. But I might as well be honest as well now and say it. I ended up, I was a crackhead for a little while. I ended up getting into the crack pretty bad.
Bloody hell.
And my missus, actually, I hid it from my missus, and then one day I just turned around to her. I was doing about 100 quid a day. And then one day I just turned around to my missus. I said, look, I've got a fucking problem with something. I need help. I need you to help me get off it. And then she was like on me every day and she got me off it. But then I went round to my auntie and I was like, I just want to say thanks, Mandy. And she was like, what for?
Yeah.
I says, for being a heroin addict. And she went, what? I says, if you weren't, I probably would have been, because the way I got into the crack was I was working at Peugeot at the time.
Yeah.
And we were on fucking big money. We used to go round to this house and have a coke sesh. And then one day this lad's gone, here, I'll try this. And he had some of that. So then every month when we got paid, we'd go around and have a sesh on this stuff.
Yeah.
And then fucking one day one of the lads has gone, here, and he's passed me a spliff. Now, I knew, obviously, being around a heroin addict, seeing it all your life, you know what it smells like, everything like that. This lad's passed me this spliff. I've took a blast on it. Instantly, I knew it was a brown spliff, like the heroin. And I went, oh, what's that, mate? And he went, oh, it's brown. I said, what are you smoking that for? He goes, oh, it brings you down off this. Now, I'd just bought my house at the time, so I knew what he was doing. He was trying to get me hooked on the brown, because my auntie had also said there's a 3-strike rule with brown. You try it once, try it twice, try it thrice. Got ya.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I fucking had these couple of blasts. I went, mate, nah, I've paid 40 quid to be up here.
Yeah.
And then that was it then. I never went round to that house again. 6 months later, every one of them heroin addicts. So Mandy was the one that got me away from heroin. And if it wasn't for her, chances are I'd have got on it that day and that would have been it.
Well,
I wouldn't be sitting
then.
here. Yeah, here's to Mandy.
Here's to Mandy.
Fucking thanks.
Yeah.
So, like, this is the beauty of comedy as well,
Yeah.
Tharun, right? There's, yes, I tell a joke about my auntie, but it's laced with some truths.
Yeah.
And it's like, what do they say? Funny shit can come out of some of the most traumatic situations, can't it?
Yeah.
And that's kind of one of them, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Fucking went really dark really quick, haven't we?
We've really been going.
Yeah. What do you think of fucking Palestine?
Palestine drugs, guys.
Yeah. You got any needles?
Laughs.
Yeah, but like that's the mad thing. Like, people hear that story, and a lot of them. I remember doing it. One of the first times I ever did that story was at a gong show for Spiky Mike, and I was outside, and a few of the lads turned around and went, how the fucking hell did you come up with that? And I went, I didn't, it happened.
Yeah.
And they were like, really? And I went, yeah. And that's the beauty of it. I told it at the beginning as a true story, and then I sort of embellished it and made it into what you see today.
As comedians, we take a true story, obviously add a bit of spice to it to make it funnier, but the core part of it is true.
Yeah, of course it is.
It is. Yeah. Bloody hell.
Yeah,
we've gone a lot of deep stuff here.
But I'm not on the old fucking anymore. No. Oh, that's a fucking thing of the past now. And
how would your comedy career have been if you were?
There wouldn't be one, mate. I'd be dead or in jail now, because like all the lads that I was doing it with back then, one of them out of 6 has got off it. Another one is constantly in and out of jail. Basically, all he does is fucking find abandoned factories and go and rob the copper out of abandoned factories, or he'll fucking hold places up and that, and then he'll end up in jail, and he's constantly in and out of jail, and you see him and he looks white like a fucking zombie, man. And
so it's no life, really.
Oh no, it's no life. It's no life. I know a couple of them are dead. So
most likely that's the avenue they're going down.
Yeah, of course it is.
It's going to be.
I mean, my auntie now. What am I? Late 40s. My auntie's late 50s.
Yeah,
and she's still fucking. Wow. In fact, someone told me the other day that she's off it now, which is
good.
Yeah, good to know.
Good going, that is.
Yeah, but it's the hardest thing to get off in the world. She actually said to me as well, she went, listen, Doug, it's the most beautiful thing you'll ever have.
Yeah.
She went, but it ruins you. Like, in fact, I'll tell you one thing as well is, while we're on the subject, once she injected into an artery instead of a vein, and she got gangrene. She lost the tip of her thumb, a finger up to there and a finger there. And I remember going into hospital and she's fucking mad as fuck. And she's going, yeah, Doug, look at this. And she's fucking, her finger there is like, it's solid. And she whacked it on the table, and it was like fucking porcelain. She was just going,
Bloody hell.
boom, ha, 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 ha. Like that. Did not give a fuck, mate.
Which is not the funny side of it, I suppose.
Oh, mate, she's the maddest person in the world, and she's never, even though it's probably fucking has got her down, but it is what it is, mate, you know.
Sometimes, like, one person said to me, you got to laugh. That's it. When things are wrong, you just got to laugh.
Well, look at Richard Pryor, mate. He's a prime example of, you know, that guy. I read his book and the fucking trauma and the shit he went through. Had some guy make him suck his dick years ago. And then, like, when he made it, he's gone back to see his family at this house. Next thing you know, there's a knock at the door. He answers the door, and there's this bloke who'd made him suck his dick, who was there with his kid. And he's gone, all right, Richard, my kid's a big fan of yours.
Yeah.
He says, I didn't know what to do. So I was like, well, and I was sound with it. And I was like,
so what can you do, really?
Yeah, it's fucking.
Yeah, did you know that I sucked your dad's dick back in the day? You know,
could you imagine if he just fucking said that?
Just you said it.
It's mad. Yeah, but trauma's, humour comes out of a lot of trauma, man.
Yeah. I think that's one way to look at it, really.
Yeah, it's the best way. It's the best way to deal with it, in a way, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you don't laugh, you'll cry, mate.
Like most of us do.
Have you got any tissue?
The laughing clown. That's what it is.
Am I all right? Yeah, let me.
What are you planning on doing?
Well, you've given me a beaker, so I might as well. Do you know what? This is the closest one, so I'll just have that, innit?
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Help yourself.
Thank you. Yeah. Nice array of drinks there as well, mate.
You know what? You know this Coke and that Sprite? You know how much that cost me? This shows today's Britain.
$1.99.
Yeah. Cost me $4.28 altogether.
It's fucking mad, isn't it?
Daylight robbery, that is.
Well, things change, don't they? And that does my head in now as well.
Oh, I hate that. I hate that. I remember the good old days when you used to be able to take a lid off.
Yeah.
Now.
The good old days.
The good old days. Oh, man. Yeah.
What do you want to talk about anyway, Tharun?
I don't know. But you know what? Let's talk about our dreams. You know what one of my dreams was?
Go on.
When I was growing up.
What dream as in, like, not like actual dream?
Well, those teenage dreams are very, you know.
Yeah.
I used to have a few dreams growing up. One of them was because I was actually raised by an old white woman.
A pack of wolves.
You see, you know the Jungle Book? Well, it's a true story.
Yeah.
But, no, because I was actually raised by an old white woman. Believe it or not, but it's
really.
Hence why I talk like this, and I don't wobble my head too much. And basically, she took me on holiday once to Inglemales.
I know Inglemales well.
I actually really like Inglemales, Fantasy Island.
Yeah.
I was there for a week in a caravan, and that at the age of 7, and then after that, my dream was to live in a caravan and work on the fair.
It's not a bad dream to have as a kid, but as you get older and you realise that fucking...
The type of people who do that.
Yeah.
But one of my dreams when I was a teenager was to go on Come Dine With Me.
Really?
Yeah.
You've got weird fucking dreams and aspirations, mate.
Reach for the stars, mate.
Yeah, no shit.
Want to go and Come Dine With Me. Yeah.
You could have been that guy. You are a pathetic woman. You remember him? That guy that really had a dig because... that was fucking
such a... He said, you've got all the decorum of a reversing dump truck.
Yeah, what an horrible bastard. What an horrible bastard. Do you know, I didn't have no... Do you know what my dreams were as a kid?
Go on.
To be a motherfucking hustler.
Oh, fuck off.
I'm fucking telling you, Tharun. I had no dreams or aspirations at all as a kid, right? None. All I wanted to do was fucking... Well, I think it was because I raved so young. I just enjoyed getting off my fucking face, mate, and I loved it. My mum, in fact, she turned around to me when she found out that I was raving and stuff, 15, 16, and like earning, I was on a YTS at the time, like £35 a week. That's why I couldn't go to the rave afterwards, because it was just too expensive. And she said to me, she went, "What did you have at that rave?" And I went, "Oh, just draw." She went, "Doug, can you tell me? I've gone through all this shit with your auntie. Yeah. I prefer to know so I'm not scared." And I went, "All right," and I took a bit of whiz. And she went, well, what did that do? I said, well, it just helps you fucking dance all night. So then when I got into the pills, she wanted to know about that, what it did to me and stuff. When I had acid, she wanted to know about that. In fact, here's a funny one for you. I used to be a dancer on the drum and bass scene, right? At a place called the Coliseum in Hillfields in Coventry. And I used to get like fucking peeled off my nut there. And when I come back in my bedroom, I had a double bed and I had this sofa, and I come home and I'd crash out on the sofa in my bedroom. And my mum would like, just come in and wash my clothes. This one day she's come in and she's shaking me on the settee. And I was like, woke up like one eye. I was like, what? She went, Doug, I fucked up. I went, what you done? She went, I've washed your jeans and these were in the pocket. And this is back in the day when pills were a tenner each. She held this bag up and there was 3 pills all mushed up in it. Ooh. And she went, I think I fucked them up. Do you want me to pay for them? And I was like, my mum wants to buy drugs off me. And I went, don't worry about it, mum. I'll just put them in a Rizzler and bomb them. They'll still be all right. Like. But imagine that, your mum nearly buying drugs off you.
Yeah, because she fucked them up. Wow.
Yeah, fair play to her though. She wanted to know, but she went, do not tell your fucking dad what you do. He will not.
Was he a bit strict about it?
Yeah, he was my stepdad. Like he'd been there since I was like 5 years old. But he was like an old miner. Yeah. Done all fucking like factory jobs and stuff. But he was very. They'd come from off the barges and stuff, and they were very
old school kind of bloke.
He weren't into anything like that darts and dummies sort of geezer. Do you know what I mean? Whereas we didn't get on when I was a kid. Yeah. And then I think that's kind of why I went off the rails to try and... He weren't really a father figure. I mean, like now we get on so well. He's like he's, as far as I'm concerned, he's my dad. If it wasn't for him, he was the one that put bread on the table. But you think about it, back in the late 70s, early 80s, it was a kind of a taboo thing, taking on someone else's kid. Not only that, but... I was brown as well. I didn't know until I was older that I was Italian. Do you know what I mean?
I was going to get onto that because when we first podcast, just the two of us, you told us that you've got Italian roots.
I have, forget about it. Yeah. But I didn't find that out until I was like in my 30s. Do you know what I mean? So it was that was a bit of a fucking shock. Yeah.
Which branch of Italy were you from? Which part of the boot?
The football, the football, deflated foot, Sicily. Yeah.
Oh, so you really were the.
Yeah. Here's the thing, though. I didn't. Like, I'm going to tell you something mad now, Tharun. Right, this is fucking gospel now. When I was a kid, I was the first brown kid in my school. Yeah, and like. I didn't know, my mum and dad were white and I was fucking brown, and I used to come home, I'd be called the P word and the N word and stuff. And I'd come home and I'd be like, Mum, why am I getting called these words? Because of my skin colour. And this is another thing that you've just touched on with being brought up by a white lady, right? Yeah. It instantly reminded me of Cass Pennant. Do you know who that is?
Name rings a bell.
Right, Cass Pennant was one of the leaders. I think he was the West Ham firm. He was a black dude who was adopted by a white family.
Did a film about him.
Yes, Cass. Yeah. And there's a bit in it, and I'll never forget it. I was sitting watching this film with my missus, and all of a sudden, Cass's mum opens the door, and he's there trying to scrub his colour off, and I went, when you get like an instant flashback, and I was like, no fucking way. And the missus went, what? I went, I tried to do that when I was a kid. I mean, I scrubbed my hands until they were fucking red raw to try and get my colour off, just to look like everyone else. Yeah. And my mum, I used to say to my mum as a kid, I was like, why am I brown and you's a white? And she was like, it's just a tan. So just I can't, but I didn't know this, right? Because I thought my dad was my dad. Yeah, he came into my life when I was 4. Yeah. I thought he was my dad. And then I started questioning it when I was like 7, 8 years old. And then I think I got to about 9 or 10 years old, and my mum went, look, we've got something to tell you. I went, what? I went, your dad's not your dad. And I went, I kind of had a feeling that something weren't right there, And she went, I says, who's my dad then? And she went, I can't tell you. Now, I didn't know at the time, my granddad was a bit of a fucking tough nut, and if he'd have found out who he was, he'd have gone round and fucking done him in. Yeah. So my mum kept it hidden. She wouldn't tell me what I was. And I was like, I need to know why I'm brown, Mum. And she wouldn't tell me.
Why am I brown?
Yeah, I wanted to fucking know. Do you know what I mean? So, like, I thought to myself, how does a 10-year-old kid find out why he's brown? So I thought the best way to do this, let's try foods from the nations I've been called. So...
Let's see which one works.
Yeah, I tried Jamaican food because obviously I'd been called some nasty names and fucking like jerk chicken and that, and I didn't like it.
You didn't like it?
Nah, I tried. This is fucking gospel now. There was a curry pasty when I was a kid. I'll never forget it. And I bought them and I put a fork in it, pulled it out, tried it, and I was like, what? I fucking didn't like it. So I ruled out.
That's when you knew you're not Indian.
Yeah, I ruled it
out. Because of the curry pasty.
Yeah, because of a curry pasty.
Because that well-known delicacy in India, that curry pasty. Yeah.
So, I didn't know. I was fucking 10 years old. How do you find out?
Yeah.
But years later, when I was in my 30s, I kind of got it out of her. I says, look, me and the missus are thinking of
now.
I said, we're thinking of having kids. I says, do me a favour, Mum. I says, fucking tell me what I am. And it turns out there was two guys that she was seeing a guy who was like a white, greasy biker.
Yep.
But she went to this shop. I can't say too much about it, but she went into this shop and she met this guy who worked in this shop, whose family owned the shop. And he treated her to something. They ended up going out for the cinema, and then one thing led to another. And she went, I think it may be him.
It may be him.
So I've done my research on this shop and the people that had it, and it turned out it had been in the family for generations.
Yeah.
And they were Sicilian.
Wow.
And which makes total sense, really, because I fucking love pizza. So
there we go. It all adds up.
Yeah. But like that was like when I found out the family name as well. I mean, I'm not going to say the family name as well because I found them. I went into this shop and I spoke to who I believe is my dad, and I handed him. I says, "Is this your shop?" And he's looked at me and he was like, "No." And I was like, okay. I says, well, here's my number. I says, I need to speak to whoever's shop this is. Get in touch with me. And he never got in touch with me. And this went on for like a year or so. And I sort of left it because I was a mad fucking druggie back then, like really bad. And then one day I was working for an Italian ice cream man. Funnily enough, now
the links.
The thing is, I still wasn't 100% sure, but I kind of knew. I was thinking,
dipping your toe in the Italian area.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense. So like, I turned up there with him one day, and I was like, right, fuck it, let's go in. And there was two blokes in there, this short, fucking stocky dude, and this guy that was a little bit taller than me.
Yeah.
And I walked in and I went, is such and such here? And they went, no. To be honest, every time I drove past there since that day when I gave him my number, he weren't ever in there again, right? But I'd see one of these guys in there, big like me, and he had like fucking bald head and that. And I had long hair at the time, but after I'd seen, he had a comb over this geezer, right? And I was like, he can't be my dad. I've got fucking beautiful hair. Not long after that, my hair started falling out like his, but I weren't having a fucking comb over. Fuck that shit. So anyway, I've gone in, spoke to these two geezers, and I was like, look, I need to speak to him. It's very serious. And they went, well, you can talk to us. I went, why? I went, well, we're his sons. I went, well, how old are you? One of them went 31. I says, how old are you? He went 35. Now, I was 33 at the time, so I was thinking, right, this fucker's had an affair here with my mum, had a one-night stand. And
that's it.
I went, I think he's my dad. And they went, oh. And I went, is he still with your mum? And they went, yeah. I says, well, I'm 33. I'm in the middle of you two, so obviously he's had an affair. I said, listen, I don't give a fuck about that guy. I says, I don't care about him. I says, all I want to do is find out a bit about, one, why I'm fucking brown, and two, I've got a kid, or I'm having a kid, and I need to know if there's any illnesses in the family, anything like that could be passed down through generations. They went, no, we're actually all right in that respect. And I was like, okay, sound. So then I've walked out the shop, and I says, look, I'm going to come and have a DNA with one of you. And they went, well, how will that work? I went, because you could be my brother. And they were like, oh, okay. And then as I walked out, my mate come out and he went, fucking hell, Doug, you're the spitting image of they both look different, but similar. And he went, you're the spitting image of them both. So then I kind of, after that, I thought, you know what?
It's too obvious. So that
I know now.
Yeah.
That's enough for me. I'm fucking happy. And then when they told me the family name and I knew that they were from Sicily, I was like, yeah, I'm in the mafia.
The cool Italians.
Yeah. But then I researched the name. Turned out their family name were the head judges that put the mafia in jail. And I was like,
okay.
oh, right, fair enough. Let's forget that side then. But do you know what? I found out what I was. The mad thing as well, Tharun, right? 2 weeks after, I got to go to Italy. 2 weeks after finding out I was Italian, I got to go to Italy. And this is fucking mad now, right?
Yeah.
I'm standing outside this fucking pizzeria, which is Italian for Domino's.
Thank you.
Yeah. And there's some geezer outside and he's gone, I'm having a fag, and he's just gone, blah, 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 which was Italian for give me a light. I didn't know. And I just went, I'd learned a bit of Italian at that point because I've been to Frankie and Benny's.
Of course,
And in the toilets, it teaches you Italian, doesn't it? So the first bit of Italian I learned in the toilet at Frankie and Benny's while I'm having a piss was non parlo inglese.
Oh.
I do not speak English. It was in fucking England, right, which was weird, right?
Okay.
So I thought I'll adapt it. So I turn around to this geezer and I've gone, thinking I was clever as fuck, non parlo Italiano. And he's like, you're English. And I went, well, I'm half Italian. And he looked at me and he went, you're Sicilian. And I went, now I was staying halfway down the boot, right, in a place called Valveri near a place called Casino. And I've looked at him and I'd only fucking found out 2 weeks before. And I looked at him and I was like,
you could tell straight away.
I said, mate, how the fucking hell do you know that? Are you my dad? And he was like, and he went, no, he goes, how Italy works is, at the top, I don't know if you know this, at the top of Italy, you've got Mont Blanc, which you come through France, you come through the mountains, and when you come out on the Italian side, because it's Mont Blanc on France's side, Le Monte Blanca on Italy's side, and when you come through into Italy, on the left-hand side is Switzerland, on the right-hand side is Italy, and then as you drive down, it turns into Italy. But they're light-skinned at the top. Yeah. And then the further down the boot you go, the closer you get to the Mediterranean. Scale, yes. It's like a fucking Dulux chart for colour. So they're very pale at the top. And then the further you get down to the bottom of the boot, the darker they get. So just by looking at my arm, he actually put his arm next to me, this guy, and he went, look at your colour. He says, put your arm next to me, Tharun.
Oh, well, let's see who. Oh, yeah. I think I'm a bit further south.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. But I in fact, I did, Alex Egan's night in Birmingham. Yeah. I did a night there and it was fucking middle of summer and I go fucking dark in the summer. And there was 2 Indian girls and an Indian lad there. And I did a little bit on Italy and being Italian. And when I come off stage, they turned around to me and they went, you're not even brown. I went, put your arm next to me. Put my arm next to them. And I was darker than them.
Oh, well, that's actually quite an achievement there.
That's being darker than an Indian?
Darker than an Indian.
Yeah. But I think in the winter, like around now, I start to go a bit Karamak.
Oh,
and then, that is soon to be a thing of the past. But then as the summer kicks in, I go fucking... Yeah. But it's nice, man. It's nice. I like it.
I just go darker than this. That's what it is. Yeah,
it's mad as well. Like, I went on.
We tan as well.
Mate, that's something I didn't realise. I had a mixed race, mate. Like the one who I was talking about who did the artwork around Leicester.
Oh yeah.
We went to Salou years ago. Yeah, and when we went to Salou, I watched him go dark and I was like, fucking hell. Yeah, but like on the holiday, when we come back, we've looked at the fucking photos and I was like, fuck me, Phil, you're fucking dark as fuck. He went, we tan as well, don't we? Oh, yeah.
When I go to India, I come back looking like that curtain over there. It's just like on that screen. It's just, that's
mad.
That's how I look. Well, India's a bit like a colour chart as well, because you've got the lighter browns. Yeah. Then you go all the way down south to get to, like the Romesh Rangalathan looking people.
Is that like closer to the equator? Is that
like South India, they tend to be quite dark. Then even south of that is Sri Lanka. Yeah. The little island, That's like India's Sicily.
Yeah.
They have their own squabbles. And then further then it's just the sea.
It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's mad.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, Leicester is just full of them. You know.
Look at you making it fucking full of them.
Full of them, mate. You know what? It's like, this is really bad. I got booked. Sometimes when I get booked on a gig and I see, like, say, there's a Hitz Nadkat or a Zane Fuller or some other Asian comedian on there.
Yeah.
A little part of me gets quite annoyed.
Why?
Because,
you want to be the only gay in the village.
Basically, yes. Yeah. I'm like, you booked another? Fuck's sakes.
Yeah. Well, fucking not a bad thing, is it? I suppose your material, if you've been brought up by, were you brought up by this?
Well, how it worked was my parents, they were working all the time. And my dad back in the day used to own a factory.
Okay.
That's actually how they ended up living in Leicester, because originally when my granddad came to this country, moved to Nottingham, and then he bought a factory in Leicester, and that's how he ended up here.
Right.
In the 80s. And so they owned a factory and everything. And then because they were working all the time, they hired some help. So this woman called Mary, who used to help out at the factory, they said, could you help with the kids at some point? And then she used to come over, help me out,
like a nanny.
Like a nanny, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I prefer the term au pair.
Au pair, oh yeah, you posh cunt.
Yes. And she was there for since day dot until now. She passed away a few years ago, but yeah, she was always there, and that's why,
like a second mother to you.
Like a second mum, yeah.
But you got brought up then, kind of with her and learning kind of English values.
English values. You know what my favourite meal is? Most Indians would say like it's a butter chicken or, some dal or something like that.
Hold on. Let me get this right, yeah? Indians really like butter chicken?
No. Well, we put up with it.
Okay.
Like, if you go to an Indian and say, we're having butter chicken today, they'll be like, what the fuck are you on about?
Yeah.
And also, if you go to India and say you can have chicken tikka masala, they'll tell you to leave.
Really?
Yeah. Also, another thing, don't ever say chai tea, because chai is tea.
So just say chai.
Just say chai. It's like when people say naan bread, naan just means bread.
So, yeah.
You're saying bread.
Yeah, bread. Yeah. So, but... Mate, this is like
so
educational.
Much education in this podcast today.
I had this lad. I used to knock about with this lad ages ago. This Indian lad, and he turned around to me one day. He's gone, because obviously I weren't. That pasty put me off Indian food, right?
Curry pasty put you off?
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it put me off it. Yeah, I wouldn't try anything else again. And like my palate was really shit. Yeah, I'm like a fucking. You can remember Goodness Gracious Me?
I remember it, yes.
When they did the scene where they're like, can I do, oh, no, I'm not going to do.
You know you want to, go on.
No, let's go for an English. I don't want to go full method, because, you know.
No, let's go for an English.
But he's like, yeah, there you go. You're allowed to. I'm not, right?
But
even though I've been called the words, do you know what I mean? I seen someone, no, in fact, that doesn't matter. No, someone did something the other day. An Irish guy did a bit on TikTok where he mentioned about like his dad, because he was called racist words ages ago, but it was just because he went darker than anyone else in the sun. So he thought he could get away with the N-word. No. And he's like, exactly. No. So you know how like when you see two black guys and like they don't know each other, but one will see the other and he'll go,
yeah.
Or like, I used to, because I'd been called the N-word, I'd be going, and they'd go. So it was like, I was in this weird middle ground, mate, where I didn't know what it was, because like my white friends had called me like the P-word, N-word, all that sort of stuff, but then like black people wouldn't accept me neither, and Indian wouldn't neither, and I was like, I was on my own in a minute. In fact, I'm going to get back to remind me about the food thing, right? This one Indian lad come round once. He was seeing this white girl in my town.
Yeah.
He come round this one day, and he was he'd been battered. His face was out here and that. And he's like, yeah, fucking. I said, what happened to you? He went, oh, fucking. I was with my girlfriend and this guy called me the P word. He goes, so I've gone for him. He says, I'm starting to have a fight with him. And 2 other lads jumped out and fucking all 3 of them battered me. And he was like, I fucking get so much racism, man. I says, yeah, I know where you're coming from, mate. And he went, how do you know where I'm coming from? I says, let me fucking tell you something, mate, right? I says, you know when you've been called, I says, you've been called a P word your whole life. And he went, yeah, I have, yeah. I says, well, you know when you've been called that, what have you done? He went, what do you mean? I says, you've gone back to an Indian family, yeah, to an Indian mum, Indian dad, Indian brothers, Indian sisters, Indian cousins, and Indians in your area because they lived on an estate where that would been the whole estate had kind of been bought up by Indians.
Yeah, we do.
I said, so yeah. So he go, and I'll tell you something about that as well in a minute as well. Well, because I understand that shit, mate, right? And I went, so you had loads of people that went, even though it was wrong, we were called that as well. So then you feel part of a group.
Yeah.
I says, I was going back to a white mum and dad saying, why am I being called this? And they were going, no, it's just a tan. I says, I was on my own, man.
Yeah, you're on your own.
I had to deal with that on my fucking own. So, like, that's one side of it that people didn't see
that bit where
and he was like, fucking hell, man. And I spoke to a mate of mine a little while ago, a black guy, and he's gone, he says, fucking hell, dog, you've had more racism than me. I says, mate, teachers used to bully me at school because of it. Like,
yeah, I mean, I've had racism, but you've had more variety of racism than I've had. At least I just got one kind.
Yeah, they called you P, but then you go back to a family that had all been called it, so you felt at one. Even though that was wrong, you felt at one with them. Whereas I didn't have that, man. I was like...
people didn't know, so they threw anything at you.
Yeah. And I had I've got friends today that deny ever saying it, but do you know
and
what?
They know they did.
There's things that you don't fucking forget, man, and that's one of them things. Getting back to the food though, here's the thing, I had this because like here's another thing as well. Groups sort of stuck to their own back in the 80s and stuff like that. You'd have like the white lads, and then you'd like when I went up to Nico, you'd have like the Indian lads, and they sort of like. Whereas I crossed over, and I was like. Colour, race didn't fucking bother me. It doesn't matter. As far as I'm concerned, if you're a twat, you're a twat. And there's fucking Indian twats, black twats, white twats, gay twats, lesbian twats, fucking trans twats. Everyone's sound apart from twats. So there's twats in every walk of life. So I didn't give a fuck. I'd make friends with everyone. And I had this Indian friend, and he was fucking sound. And then one day he's turned around and he says, oh, Doug, I nearly drifted into the accent then again because I'm used to being around him, And he went, Doug, we'll go for some food. And I went, yeah, what are you thinking? He went, we'll go for an Indian. I went, listen, Ram, I says, Rambia, his name was, Ram. I says, listen, Ram, I'm not really into Indian food, man. I'm not a spicy person. He went, nah, Doug, listen, He says, I don't.
So was he a roadman now?
No, he was a bit. He was a bit. And he's gone, listen, man, He says, I don't like Indian food. He says, my mum makes the hottest curries in the world. He says, and I have to eat it or she'll beat me. He went, but he says, I don't fucking like it. He went, have you tried chicken tikka? And I went, no. He went, listen, have a chicken tikka naan wrap. He says, it comes with this mint sauce. He went, it can be a little bit spicy. He goes, not too spicy, just a little bit spicy. He went, you dip it in the mint sauce, it's beautiful. And it's him that got me into tikka. And now my taste buds are getting a little bit better because of him. But it was like he was like my first Indian mate, my first proper Indian mate. And to find my first Indian mate didn't like curry, it blew my fucking mind.
It's irony, isn't it?
Yeah. But it blew my mind because in my head, I just thought...
We all sat around just eating curry.
I thought it went hand in hand, mate. Do you know what I mean? But he was like, no, man, I can't stand it. And I was like, mind blown, man.
Sometimes, yeah. Well, my favourite food growing up was sausage, chips and beans.
Really?
Yeah, that was it. Sausage, chips and beans.
Well, I am the blandest of the bland. You know, like we've just gone off on a mad tangent, but we're going to get back to goodness gracious me. Yeah. I'm a scampi man, mate. I like, because that's what they said. Yeah, let's try the scampi. And I was like, wow, But scampi, I'm a mild.
I like a bit of scampi, actually.
I like the mild. It's such a mild flavour, but it's got that little hint of flavour. And But I am now. I'm getting into my spices more, man.
Very nice.
I'm starting to enjoy it more. And I do love a steak and kidney pea.
Steak and kidney pea.
I fucking do.
Oh, shit, that's the time.
Fuck off. We ain't done already, are we?
We're having an hour.
Mint.
Well, he's not come back in. But yeah. Well,
have you enjoyed it? Was it worth having me on?
Have you enjoyed it?
Mate, I fucking love this.
Yeah. Would you come again?
Yeah, I would, man. This is just like two lads shooting the fat.
That's it.
But I tell you what, next time if I come to another one, man, you have 3 or 4 ideas, because this is we've just winged the fuck out of this.
Next time we'll have a plan.
And you have a plan of things. Look at shit. Think of something you want to talk on, because I've got a couple. In fact, I have got something about that I'd like to tell you about when I fingered a dog. But we'll leave that for the next one.
Next time we'll do that. But well, where can people find you? Do you remember what your socials are?
Of course I fucking do. I ain't had a joint today, mate. I'll have that when I get home. I don't take drugs anymore, just so you know.
Say no to drugs, kids.
Yeah, say no to drugs. But if you do take them, you'll have a great time. Right, yeah. I'm called Random Waffle Bollocks on Facebook. That is, Waffle Bollocks is one word, though, and it's LLOX at the end instead of the other way of spelling it. Doug Carter Comedy on Instagram.
Okay.
And Doug's Rants and Laughs on TikTok. So...
How many subscribers you got on TikTok?
I haven't been counting, mate, but I think it's about 76,428.
Nice.
But I ain't been counting. No, I'm doing all right, considering I'm an ugly cunt, you know.
You're falling into becoming an influencer.
Wow. Do you know what my fucking lad said the other day? My lad turned around. This is weird now. Now, I'm not don't think I'm a big head in any way, shape or form, right? I live in a fucking 2-bedroom ex-council house. my front room looks like a fucking crack den. Only because I've stripped all the wallpaper off and that. I've just paid for a new kitchen and that. Yeah. I work on a fucking building site driving heavy plant machinery. You know, I'm not... But my lad went, "You're famous." And when I well, no, I said to him, I says, "No, I'm not." He went, "But you know some famous people." I went, "Yeah, I do. Yeah. But that don't mean I'm famous." He went, "Well, if you know famous people, you're famous." Anyway, he's fucking walked out the room. He come back in and he went, "How many followers have you got?" I think at the time I had something like 74,000, something like that. And he went, "If you've got over 72,000 followers, you're classed as famous." And I was like, fucking hell. I said, "Well, I'm not. I says, "I'm the poorest famous guy you'll ever fucking meet, mate." So, you know, I'm a normal, run-of-the-mill fucking lad that's just winging life.
On that note, yeah. Put it there. Thanks for coming, mate.
Thanks for having me with your weird fucking goblet.
That's it.
Do you know what I mean? You look like something out of fucking, what's it called? Harrison Ford. What's that?
What, Raiders of the Lost Ark?
Yeah, that's it.
well, like I say to every guest, start your own fucking podcast. You can have one of your own.
Yeah, well, that's the plan, mate. That's the plan. So,
Cheers, mate.
Yeah, thanks for having me, mate.
All right. That's it.